AITA for calling every morning? Original and updates. In the same post I'm also including irrelevant comments at the end that were made at an unknown point between the original posting and the edits. OOP is you, sad abbreviations 216. AITA for calling every morning? Posted November 29, 2022. My son is a 20-month-old toddler. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. I work 6 days a week and I'm usually gone for 12 hours a day. I always check in on my son remotely via our nursery cam app and he's always awake in the mornings. Around 8 o'clock. He has a great sleep routine. Our wind-down time starts at the same time every evening. We clean up toys, read a book. When I lay him down he's still awake. He falls asleep on his own and sleeps all night for at least 12 hours. It's usually after 9 o'clock before I have a chance to check the camera. This morning when I checked it was 9:12 and some mornings are closer to 10 o'clock. Every time I look though, he's awake in the dark and standing in his crib just waiting. When I see this, I immediately turn on the brightest night light the camera has and speak to him through the camera app. I always tell him good morning and I love him and he usually laughs and says, "Dada." Then I leave the app and call my wife to wake her up. I usually have to call 3 to 4 times and when she finally answers, it's obvious that she just woke up and only because I called. I tell her that our son is awake waiting for her and that she needs to get up to start their day. This morning while on the phone, I asked her if she was going to get him after using the bathroom and she said no. She was going to the kitchen to prepare their breakfast and then she'd get him. I asked her to get him after the bathroom so he could go to the kitchen with her and she flipped out. She told me it pisses her off that I call every morning to tell her how to be a mom and that she has a routine. I retorted with, "Well, your routine sucks because he's been awake for an hour and you'd still be asleep if I hadn't called. It just bothers me that he has to wait so long. He needs a diaper change. He's probably thirsty, hungry and just wants to play." Am I wrong though? Do I need to stop? Please be completely honest with your answers. Thanks. Edit 1. I was banned from commenting within the first hour because I violated a rule in a comment and that's why I wasn't responding to anyone. I'm a fairly new Reddit user in terms of posting. I normally read a lot and that's all, and because of this, I had no clue that a temporary comment ban didn't affect my ability to edit the post. I would have edited the post much sooner had I known I was able to regardless of the comment ban. There are so many things that need to be addressed about this post and the most important one is about my wife. I love her more than anyone on Reddit thinks I do. She is an amazing woman and a wonderful mother. I absolutely do not think she is an incompetent parent, nor do I think she neglects my son. None of the information I provided was ever supposed to convey that negative message about her. My whole issue was, he's awake. He's been awake. Why are you still asleep? That's all. And she agreed. She stays up too late plus has alarms set now. I showed my wife how this post exploded and she could not believe the kind of attention it got. She is very much in love with me and does not agree that I am controlling, nor does she believe that I am micromanaging her daily life. Also, because so many people believe that I intentionally left out the medical issues she has. I'll list them here. Postpartum depression, low vitamin B12, chronic fatigue. Now, let me explain why I didn't list them originally. Her low vitamin B12 is not a deficiency. Her level is just lower than what is considered best for her age. This is according to recent blood work that I recommended. The results state that any number between 100 pg per milliliter and 914 pg per milliliter is within normal range. And her level is 253 pg per milliliter. The doctor suggested sublingual B12 1000 mcg daily to raise the level a little. but stated that apart from that, she could not find a reason for the chronic fatigue. Because of these results, and especially after purchasing the supplements, in my mind, the B12 is not a problem. Also, the blood work confirmed that everything else was normal. The postpartum depression is actively being monitored and treated by a professional. My wife literally goes to a psychiatrist, or psychologist, I can't remember their exact title, multiple times a year, and we pay for medication every 30 days. She initially tried depression medication, followed the regimen religiously, and not much changed for her. This was addressed in a following appointment and a new medication was prescribed. Her current medication is normally used to treat ADHD or narcolepsy, and the doctor believed it would alleviate some of her tiredness and release more dopamine, thus providing more energy in her daily life. This does seem to be true, and she seems to be happy with the medicine. The chronic fatigue is a result of her own poor scheduling and personal health. She has agreed that she spends too much time sitting and using the phone. She naps when our son naps and has trouble falling asleep at a normal bedtime hour due to this daytime sleep. We always go to bed together, and he's told me multiple times that she moved to the living room after I fell asleep because she couldn't sleep and was bored just lying there. Then, midnight or later comes. She's finally drowsy and decides to sleep. However, the overstimulation from social media and phone usage makes it difficult for her brain to reach REM sleep normally. So she falls asleep at 12 o'clock. Our son wakes up at 8 o'clock. 8 hours have passed and she still feels tired and not at all rested. I do know and have known about her condition. We have agreed to disagree about the cause of her sleeping problems. In her mind, she has chronic fatigue because of insomnia, and it's a vicious cycle. In my mind, she stays up too late on the phone and doesn't get the sleep her body needs. Whether the internet thinks she is a bad mother, negligent, lazy, or abusive is not important. I know and love the woman I married. I do feel comfortable leaving her with our kid, and she does an amazing job with him. In a few comments I stated that she was lazy and didn't do much at home. I won't deny those statements. But in the moment I was still aggravated because the argument over the phone had just recently ended. I don't truly think she's lazy because I've seen what she can do. I just think she's unmotivated due to a lack of sleep in the same four walls every day. Finally, I am not spying on her or my son. We only have 2 cameras in this house, and both are in our son's room. One camera provides a wide-angle view of the entire room and the other is positioned directly above his crib. The cameras serve no purpose during the day because I'd barely be able to hear background noise from another room even if I did try to listen in. My wife is an amazing woman and an amazing mother. My son is just so happy all the time. He's super smart, full of energy, and extremely healthy. I will not be hiring a nanny or using a daycare. There is absolutely nothing wrong with what my wife does during the day. I just wish she'd start her day earlier for my little man. I want to say thank you to everyone who commented on this post and messaged me. My wife and I had a long, in-depth conversation last night after all of the attention this post received, and I've shown her everything. There were tears, much more laughs, and a lot of things to think about. I think the most important thing we learned is that so many people are quick to judge, and that in itself is a very big problem. Edit 2. I need to make it clear that my wife does not have narcolepsy. She is not taking medicine for narcolepsy. I said that the medicine she takes now is usually used to treat narcolepsy or ADHD. She also does not have ADHD. The second thing we learned is that people love to add details and change the story. Verdict. YTA. Comments from Oop. 1. We went to bed together at 8:39 last night. How much sleep does she need, and how long should he be forced to wait in the dark without food or Toys? 2. Thank you. That's all it is. I'm not controlling. She prefers to stay at home. She has her own vehicle and she can leave whenever she wants. All I care about is his development, and it bothers me that the first quarter of his time awake before his nap is spent in the dark, alone and bored. 3. That's how I feel. Others are saying that I'm controlling and she lives like a prisoner, but he is the priority in my mind. It's our fault he's here. It is what it is. 4. I'm not spying on him. I just miss him. When I see him wide awake, beaming with energy but stuck in the dark, it bothers me and I feel like it's my duty as his father to help. Am I really wrong for this? 5. Is it so hard to bring a toddler to the kitchen to play with magnets on a refrigerator while you prepare a small meal? Do you really think it's right for a toddler to wake up and be forced to wait in the dark for 2 hours before their caregiver arrives to provide the attention and love they so desperately need in the early years? 6. I know he sleeps through the night, and if he didn't for some reason I would have woken up as well and known about it. Also, I never expect her to spend every second of the day with him. I don't even do that when I'm home. But why can't she get up at a decent hour? Shouldn't a mother adjust her schedule to fit the child? 7. A sleep study confirmed that she doesn't have sleep apnea. Depression medicine didn't work, so now she's taking medicine that usually treats narcolepsy, ADHD. She had blood tests done not too long ago, and according to the doctor, everything is fine, and they didn't find a cause for her chronic fatigue, except for a lower than average B12 level. I bought B12 supplements as per the doctor's request, but she forgets to take them, and when she's awake she sits on the couch browsing social media almost all day long. 8. Do you honestly believe that it's acceptable to go to bed at 9 o'clock and sleep until 12 o'clock even though you have a toddler at home that wakes up at 8 o'clock? I shouldn't have to be there, nor should I have to spend money on someone to care for my child when his mother is perfectly capable. 9. I swear she doesn't do much of anything around the house other than sit on the couch looking at TikTok or Facebook, but this isn't a post about a lazy wife. It's about a post about a father who wishes his child's mother could provide a better structure for the child. Her schedule needs work and she cannot continue to just sleep in until she is ready to get up. Also, he does cry when he's waited long enough, and that's what wakes her on the days that I'm just too busy at work. 10. I am not spying on her. We literally do not talk at all during the day until I'm back home, except for this one time in the mornings. 11. There is no routine though. That's my issue. If it weren't for me, he'd be fed and allowed playtime at very different times every day. I agree with the benefits of alone time, but isn't it a bit much to keep him waiting for more than an hour and sometimes more than 2 hours? 12. That's my whole point. Everyone is saying, the child is safe, or, he wasn't crying. And they are absolutely correct. However, when I'm home I jump out of bed and go in there singing my good morning song when I hear that he's awake. I don't think I'm fostering anything negative in the development of his personality. I genuinely cannot wait to see him smile at me. I cannot wait to hear him say my name. I cannot wait to watch him throw his hands up and tell me, up, up. I love bonding with him. I love interacting with him, and I love letting him follow me around the house while I do adult things. He's my little sidekick. 13. Yes. The decision for a child was mutual. She doesn't do anything but feed him, lay him down at nap time, wash dishes and browse social media on the couch. This post was never about a lazy wife, but about a father who wants a more consistent structure to be provided to his child. We agreed that she'd be a stay-at-home mom. She wants this and I make a good living. 14. When I'm home, my son and I don't exist. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning for work and up by 7 o'clock on the mornings that I'm home. And he does eventually cry when I don't call. His crying is what eventually wake her up. 15. She wanted the cameras. Editor's note. While I do agree, the baby just waiting that long to be changed and fed is an issue. The way that Op originally handled it was atrociously micromanaging. Yes, his wife does have a diagnosed medical condition. But if she can't handle the mornings due to the medication not working, they need a part-time nanny or something. Where's the update? Seems like an AITA post and some edits. This was a lot of build-up with no payoff. I'm coming at this as a person with chronic fatigue, major depression, and for a time hypersomnia. I literally couldn't wake up with alarms. I moved back in with my parents, and my dad got me up every morning. I literally could not wake up without help. His wife is unwell, and that's not her fault. However, she is neglecting their child. A small child should not be left with likely a full diaper and empty stomach so long, especially since she would leave him till 12 if the dad didn't intervene. My wife is amazing. I never intended to make her sound bad. All my wife does is scroll through TikTok all day. Ps B12 in that range can definitely be symptomatic and shouldn't be ruled out as a contributing factor. That's a basket full of yikes right there. My supervisor has 2 kids and loves when the older one, 5 now, wakes up but doesn't make a fuss. He sings Disney songs to himself that his parents can hear from their bedroom. Eventually he gets up and bothers them, but it's honestly best for everyone that he entertains himself. If the kid is awake but not making a fuss, and doesn't have diaper rash issues, then what's the point in bothering them? Oop is being a very cute dad, but he doesn't need to kickstart his son's day. Him saying the chronic fatigue is a result of her own poor scheduling and personal health, lost any goodwill I had towards him. She either doesn't have chronic fatigue diagnosed by a medical professional, or she does and he's downplaying a serious medical condition and calling it her own poor scheduling. He's a jerk. She had fatigue, depression, and insomnia. He's lucky he doesn't. I'm surprised how a lot of people seem to agree that leaving a toddler on their own for 12+ hours was okay. Like I'm not a father, but that seems like a long time. Agree with the dad on this one. If I had to work 72 hours per week and rarely got to see my child, I'd be upset too. Please help me out. I don't understand why this guy is in awe. I'm a SOM with chronic fatigue symptoms, a side effect of another chronic illness I have. It's really challenging and has caused a lot of issues for our family. My spouse has gotten overly involved in some parts of our lives because he is concerned for me and the kids. When I heard that she was often leaving her son in the crib for hours in his overnight diaper, I was horrified. That's a great way for him to get sores from diaper rash, and it's overall not great for him. Having dad call and wake up mom seemed like a good solution. But if it wasn't working, then the two of them needed to figure something else out. But with all the responses there and here, I feel like I'm missing something. So anyone who reads this, please feel free to tell me what else is going on. Gonna take a wild guess and say whatever is being done for the wife's depression isn't working that well. Also, I love how Oop admits his wife has depression, AB12 deficiency, and chronic fatigue. But of course all of that is actually his wife's fault or not relevant. How convenient. I think this is an esh. But I think Oop is in denial about his wife's issues. He says the post isn't about a lazy wife, but clearly he does think she's just lazy and disorganized. Seriously, how hard is it to set a light on a timer and put some toys into the crib? She doesn't have ADHD, buddy. I have news for you both. This guy took being called the A unanimously in his first post in the update as a diatribe about how we're wrong and the wife is lazy. Was anyone saying that in the first place? Yikes. I hate everything about this. And, yes, he is still a huge-ass asshole. As someone on ADHD medication, I'm betting that's what's keeping her from falling asleep at night. It can definitely disrupt your schedule when you first start, and I know that I personally ended up staying up later and sleeping later in the beginning. Interesting that she can still nap though. Op still sounds like Ta and still doesn't realize that most people thought he was the one being scrutinized, and that most thought his wife was the one who needed help and care. What a FC King idiot. Woman facepalming, woman facepalming, woman facepalming. I know there's a lot to pick on, but I'm going to zero in on the magnets. Do people still let toddlers play with magnets? That sounds like a really bad idea. I disliked him when I read his post the first time, and I think he is an even bigger awe. He learned nothing from those comments. And he is super controlling, whether he or his wife want to admit it. Also, how does he know what she does every minute of the day with their son? She could be doing a ton.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.